Welcome to our Advent Calendar, a project of St Thomas à Becket Church in Ramsey. My name is Ian Osborne, the rector of Ramsey. Today we are going to think about a single man who is known as a friend of God, perhaps the archetypal friend of God. He's Abraham. There are lots of traditional paintings of Abraham, but they don't quite capture what I think is essential to the man, so I've used a modern photograph. Abraham lived in a city in what is now Iraq. This is 4,000 years ago, but those cities by then had already been there 4,000 or 6,000 years. He came from a deeply settled agricultural community. And God called him to leave. In those days, you lived in a city for safety. You lived with your own people, and that kept you safe. People who wandered around tended to meet with nasty accidents. But God said to Abraham, "Up, off you go." And Abraham lived from then on to the end of his life, a wandering life, a life in a tent. And that was what God asked Abraham to do as the price, if you like, of being God's friend. It was a way of teaching, I think, teaching Abraham and teaching us that friendship with God is a great prize, a great jewel, which needs to be more important than anything else. We might not literally need to leave our home and wander through the desert, but we need to be willing to place all those natural ties second compared to the friendship with God. And in exchange for that, well, Abraham was very concerned for his posterity. In those days, people didn't believe in life after death. What mattered most to Abraham was that he would have children to carry on his line, and he didn't. He and his wife were old, and they hadn't been able to have any babies. But God made the promise to Abraham that he would have family, that his descendants would indeed be more numerous than the stars in the sky. And since every Christian and every Jew and every Muslim sees themselves as a spiritual descendant of Abraham, that promise has been fulfilled. Friendship with God means prizing God. And if we do that and are friends with God, then our heart's desires will be given to us. Bye-bye.